Mike's thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. We have to talk about the one and only Joe Burrow. Guys, Joe Burrow has become more of a vibe. He's become more of just the sunglasses, swagger, cigars, commercials, cool quotes. The branding is immaculate. The football, it's good, but it's not mythical. Somewhere along the way, people stopped elevating the results and started grading the aesthetic. Here's the problem. When you peel back the hype, Joe Burrow lives on a short list of quarterbacks who got the external excuse. Bad offensive line, excuse. Bad defense, excuse. Bad play calling, excuse. Meanwhile, other elite quarterbacks are expected to drag broken rosters uphill in a snowstorm while Burrow gets praised for grit after throwing 220 yards in a pick. Let's talk about his production, not the posters. He doesn't have the arm talent that people pretend he has. He's accurate, yes. He's poised, yes. But the ball doesn't explode off his hand. He's not bending coverages with velocity. He needs a clean read and timing, which is fine, but that's not the generational, the efficient. That's the difference. Now the playoff narrative. One Super Bowl appearance that ended in a loss, and somehow he has stretched it into a career resume. He didn't dominate that run. His defense carried them in those games. His kicker bailed him out. Yet the story became Joe Burrow owns Mahomes because of one January night that required overtime and a whole lot of help. Funny how that reputation stuck while Mahomes keeps collecting Lombardis like he's saviors, or like souvenirs, I should say. Then there's a durability issue that nobody wants to talk about. Year after year after year, something is wrong. His knee, calf, wrist. You can't crown someone top tier if their availability is a yearly coin flip. Toughness isn't limping through seasons. Toughness is being there, consistency, and when it matters. The most telling part, swap Burrow with any other good quarterback, and the Bengals probably look the same. Swap him with a truly elite guy, no excuses quarterback that the team becomes terrifying. That gap matters. Yes, Joe Burrow is good. He's very good. Franchise good. But the way he's talked about, the reserves are for a quarterback who bends season to their will, not ones who need everything aligned to be just right. Guys, right now, Joe Burrow isn't overrated because he's bad. He's overrated because he's treated like something hasn't proven he is yet. And eventually, the sunglasses come off. And eventually, Joe Burrow will be exposed to exactly who he is. Mediocre at best. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation! Rise up. Wrong one.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah. From the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Guys, welcome to Man Hour NFL Talk. This is Michael Buckheister, your go-to spot for live, raw, uncut NFL talk. I'm so glad you guys are rolling with us today. Before we jump to today's action, guys, head over to manhourradio.com. That's where you'll find all of the exclusive merchandise, the freshest blogs, and everything that's happening with the Man Hour show. So, guys, if you're rocking the Man Hour, that is the spot to do it. Guys, make sure you hit the like button, hit the share button, of course, subscribe as well so you never miss a live interactive show. That's the easiest way to stay plugged in with us so you never miss a live interactive show. But if you want the full man-hour extenders, guys. Become a Picks and Pundit. There's a members-only community where you get free entry into weekly NFL pick'ems, giveaways, exclusive merchandise, and bonus live stream that only the Picks and Pundits get. So if you want that next level access, guys, join the squad today. And now remember, this is a live interactive show. So drop your thoughts, your opinions, and your hottest takes down below, because I want to hear from you. I want to hear you, Noah Explorers. Let me pop that chat up there. What the Noah Explorer says, yo, 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 yo. Why is the chat not working? Pop-up chat. Pop-up chat. So guys, as you guys know, we are not in the normal studio today. We're actually in my dining room. There it is. It finally popped up. What is up, Noah? What is up? What is up? Guys, we're not in the normal studio. Studio C is getting the expansion, getting ready for the 2026 NFL season. But nonetheless, guys, we are live, we are raw, and we are uncut, just like we are every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. East Coast time right here at YouTube.com. Now, guys, this is Black Monday. And if you guys do not know what Black Monday is where the NFL landscape starts to take shifts, right? Coaches get fired, GMs get fired, and we start to see a big shakeup in the NFL world, and that's exactly where we are at today. And today, guys, it is Black Monday, and we have seen some stuff go down. We have seen Pete Carroll get fired. We have seen Raheem Morris get fired. We have seen Jonathan Gannon get fired. Of course, the Giants lost their coach, Brian Daboll, earlier this season. Guys, people are getting fired left and people are getting fired right, and that's exactly where we need to start off there, right at the top. And one of the biggest surprises that I think a lot of people are talking about right now is Kevin Stefanski getting fired. Guys, let's get into this because the Cleveland Browns has officially fired Kevin Stefanski. And this one feels like a little bit of a shock more than the final page of a book that knew the ending. 6th season, 2 coaches of the year, and yet here we are. Fired. The Browns finished the 2025 NFL season 5-12, last place in the AFC North for the 2nd straight year. And the ownership finally says, the quiet part out loud, this isn't working anymore, Kevin. Get out of town. And now let's be clear about something right away. This is not a Kevin Stefanski can't coach situation. This is a Browns dysfunctional meets quarterback chaos type of situation. Under Stefanski, guys, the Cleveland Browns had 13 different quarterbacks. 13 different quarterbacks. Let that sink in. That's not a quarterback room. That is a rotating door with a helmet rack next to it. And those quarterback ranked bottom 5 in total QBRs, total yards per attempt, total completion percentage, while throwing an NFL high 98 interceptions. That's not an offense. That's survival mode at best. And yet Kevin Stefanski still dragged this franchise into the playoffs twice, including an historic playoff run over the Steelers back in 2020. The Browns' first postseason victory since 1994. He won Coach of the Year twice, including in 2023 when the roster was held together by duct tape and ice packs. And so why now? Why is he getting the boot now? Because the last few seasons, guys, simply put, were free-for-alls. They are a combined 8 for 26. 8 wins, 26 losses. That's tough. 11 games this season, they scored under 20 points. And this supposed offensive guru given the play calling duties up again. When your calling card stops, the clock gets loud. And here's where the story gets very, very uncomfortable. Kevin Stefanski is not the biggest reason that the Browns failed. The Deshaun Watson contract is fully guaranteed money, $230 million, 3 first-round picks, and since arriving in Cleveland, Watson has played a total of 19 games. Total of 19 games, a total QBR of 33.1, dead last. He didn't play all of 2025. He carries an $80.7 million cap hit going into 2026, the largest in the NFL. And league sources have already said he'll be on the roster next season. So let's start pretending this firing resets everything. Andrew Berry says the Watson contract stays. The financial handcuff stays. This isn't a clean rebuild. This is a franchise trying to renovate a house while the financial is cracked. Jimmy Haslam says there is no breaking point. There is no breaking point. This just feels like it's time for a change. And this tells you everything. This just wasn't one bad decision. It was an accumulated frustration, mounting pressure, and fan base that is tired of patient speech. Kevin Stefanski exit with class, gratitude, and respect across the league. And I'll say this plainly. Kevin Stefanski will be a head coach again. Matter of fact, he's already got an interview lined up with the New York Football Giants. He will get a coaching job sooner than people think. The Browns, though, they're entering this reset mode without actually resetting. This is the biggest problem. So here's the question that nobody in Cleveland wants to answer yet. Is the Brown jobs even attractive if Deshaun Watson still is the plan for 2026? Is the Browns job even attractive if you're not going to trade away Myles Garrett? Is the Browns job attractive if you are just trying to take this mediocre team and make it into a Super Bowl contender? Because you can fire the coach, you can promise a young core, but until that contract stops controlling the future, this carousel doesn't stop spinning. And let me ask you this, man, Our Nation, before we wrap this topic up. Was the fire of Kevin Stefanski the right move, or is he taking his fall for a situation that no coach could fix? Guys, let's get into the comments and discuss your thoughts. This is a live interactive show. Now remember, we're live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. right here at youtube.com/Man Hour. Now this is a live interactive show, so let your voice be heard. Now also on Black Monday, actually this was last night, Raheem Morris has got the boot. Raheem Morris got the boot. Guys, let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons. Because the Atlanta Falcons have officially hit the reset button. They fired Raheem Morris and general manager Terry Frontnet after back-to-back disappointing seasons. And before anybody gets emotional, logistic, or starts posting heart emojis for effort and vibes, let me say this clearly. This move is late. It's not shocking. Matter of fact, it should have been done probably last season. Arthur Blank said the quiet part out loud. There were a few good people, respectable people, but the results didn't match the expectations. And in the NFL, eventually the scoreboard speaks louder than the character references. 8-9 this season. No playoffs since 2017. 8 straight seasons without a winning record. That's not a rough patch. This is a lost era. And here's the part that matters. I said this 4 weeks ago. Raheem Morris was out. Monday Night Football, Atlanta Falcons with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yes, the Atlanta Falcons did come back and win that game. And immediately the noise started. I was called a clown. I was told I didn't know ball. Brandon Beastie Combs let me hear it loud and clear. And yet here we are. That Monday Night Football win didn't change the bigger picture. It just delayed the headline. Because when ownership looks at the whole body of work, not just an emotional comeback, the conclusion was already written. 16-18 under Morris. A 6-3 start season that collapsed last season. A rush with talent that never fully aligned. Players loved him. Drake London wanted him back. B. John Robinson vouched for him. Jesse Bates spoke up. And that's what makes this even harder. Not wrong. But liking your coach doesn't equal winning with your coach. Now let's talk about Terry. Because this isn't just about a coaching failure. This is the quarterback failure. This is the general manager failure as well. Since Matt Ryan left, Atlanta Falcons has spun through Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heinicke, Kirk Cousins, now Michael Penix Jr. That's 5 different quarterbacks, 5 different plans, 0 stability. You signed Kirk Cousins, fresh off a torn Achilles, to a $100 million contract. Then 6 weeks later, draft Michael Penix Jr. 8th overall. That's not alignment. That is an organizational whiplash. What is going on with ourselves? Kirk Cousins starts hot, fades, get benched. Michael Penix shows flashes and tears ACL and is out 9 to 12 months. And suddenly you have no presence and no clear future. Terry did not clean up the cap mess either. That matters, but he never saw the most important position in the spot. And in this league, that one mistake makes erases all your good work. Arthur Blank now elevates Greg Beatles to president and CEO and says he's hiring a president of football outside the organization. Translation? Fresh eyes, fresh authority, no more internal recycling. The Falcons are finally admitting to what everybody else knew. This franchise needs a full reboot, not another past job. Raheem Morris will coach again. Terry will work again. They're all respected around the league. But Atlanta has to stop making efforts and progress. Because 4 straight wins at the end of the season to a lost season doesn't erase years of spinning tires. So, Man Hour Nation, let me ask you this question. Was this the right reset for the Falcons, or did the Falcons wait too long and waste another prime years of talent? Let's get into the comments, guys. Let's dust your Scots. Subscribe, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. East Coast time right at youtube.com/Man Hour. Now, this is a live interactive show, guys, so jump in the chat. Let me hear your voice be heard. Let me hear you, Mellow Mike. I see you popping. He says, let's go, Texans, baby. Texans are good. Mellow Mike says, Atlanta couldn't afford my consultant fee. Mellow Mike, the Atlanta Falcons are in the same boat as the Cleveland Browns are. They need a total reset. They need to let Kyle Pitts walk. Well, Kyle Pitts had a little bit of better of a year, but you don't want to sign him long-term. Either franchise tag him or let him walk. Do not sign him long-term. He has not proven shit to you, right? Let Kirk Cousins walk. Get him out of town. Michael Penix Jr., we don't know what to do with our hands, right?
Daddy,
What?
Are you doing right?
We're doing it right now. See, we're live right now, buddy. But basically, guys, the Atlanta Falcons, we're going to talk about this in a little bit in buy or sell, but they arguably might be the best team to go to because they do got a lot of young talent. Mellow Mike says the best thing Atlanta could do is hire Kevin Stefanski ASAP. Kevin Stefanski's got a lot of mojo around him. I heard the Tennessee Titans are considering him. He's already got an interview lined up with the New York Football Giants. The Las Vegas Raiders should reach out to him as well. Hell, the Dallas Cowboys should probably reach out to him as well. Matter of fact, any other team in the AFC North should be reaching out to Kevin Stefanski right now. Get it. Mellow Mike says the tight end draft is deep. Pitts is in the pits. That's tough, baby. Yeah, come here. That is tough, baby. But another coach that has gone. Another coach that's hitting the Black Monday portal. That is the one and only Jonathan Gannon. Guys, and if you know me, you've been listening to the Man Hour. Jonathan Gannon should be no surprise to nobody. Absolutely nobody who's been paying attention to Man Hour instead of arguing vibes on social media. Guys, Jonathan Gannon is out after a 3-14 season, the worst year in modern era of the franchise. His final record in Arizona, 15 wins, 36 losses. That's tough. No playoff appearance, never finished higher third in the NFC West. And this year, it wasn't even competitive football most weeks. They were 0-6 in the division, getting their asses waxed. Now, let's say this part clearly because this matters. Because this is another coach that I had on the hot seat before the season started. And when Kyler Murray was benched for the rest of the season, I said it out loud. I turned the hot seat into a pressure cushion. And what happened? Oh, man, my man BC Combs called me a clown. I was told his job was safe. I was told I don't know ball. Same script, different reason. Look, Buck is right again. Look at this, baby. Once again, the league told you I was right. Jonathan Gannon came to Arizona with a defensive reputation. He was fresh off a Super Bowl run with the Philadelphia Eagles at defensive coordinator. Top 10 scoring defense, elite metrics, big expectations. None of it translating. Since 2023, the Cardinals have ranked 30th in points allowed, 28th in yards allowed, and 31st on third down. That's not a rebuild defense. That's a regression defense. And the AFC West, forget about it. Gannon went 3-15 against the division, 0-6 versus Seattle, 1-15 versus the Rams, while the Niners, Seahawks, and Rams all went to the playoffs this year. That's just not bad luck, guys. That's being outclassed, outcoached, outplayed. Yes, injuries are brutal, whatever, right? 42 different players missed time, 25 on injury reserve, including Kyler Murray, James Conner, Trey Benson, and of course, Marvin Harrison Jr. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Every bad team uses injuries as an explanation. Good organization use them as context, not excuses. And even when healthy last season, when Arizona was shocking in first place after 10 weeks, this thing still collapsed. 4 straight losing season, same pattern, same inability to close. The season was supposed to be year 3 of the year build. It was supposed to be, this is our year. Instead, it turned into a confirmation that this rebuild was never on schedule. And now the Cardinals have a bigger problem than just finding a coach. They got Kyler Murray decision looming. $36.8 million guaranteed in 2026. Another $19.5 million in 2027. Locked in, still on the roster in March. That's not a football decision. This is a franchise-defining fork in the road. So Arizona fires Gannon, eats the last 2 years of his deal, and hands the Kings to Monty Orchard to find the next coach. Let's just be honest. This fire wasn't about one season. It wasn't about injuries. It wasn't even about the loss to the Rams. It was about clarity. When your head coach loses the locker room, loses the division, loses the defense, and then benches the quarterback by the end of the year, the writing was already on the wall. You can argue with takes. You can argue with the comment section, but the league always settles the debate. And Buck is always right. So, guys, before we wrap this up, let me ask you this, Man Hour Nation. Did the Cardinals finally make the right move, or is this franchise still spinning in circles until the Kyler Murray question is answered? Guys, let's get into the comments and discuss your thoughts. Subscribe, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. East Coast time right at YouTube.com. Now, this is a live, interactive show, so jump down in the comments and let your voice be heard. What, little man? Yeah, go ahead. Let's Go Sports says, point of view. You just won the division, baby. We're talking about the Steelers tomorrow, my man. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to talk about those Steelers. Mellow Mike says Schottenheimer is good. Dallas got to find the right defensive coordinator. Gannon might be a good fit in Dallas as defensive coordinator. Matter of fact, anybody is better than Eberflus. Let's just be honest about it. Dakota Miller, 1089, says Kyler Murray has gotten so many coaches fired. As he has gotten so many coaches fired, the truth be told is that Kyler Murray's not that damn good. Kyler Murray has been overrated. He's been overhyped. He has been exposed game after game after game. Now, with that being said, he would thrive in Minnesota. Kyler Murray in Minnesota makes perfect sense, baby. Kyler Murray in New York doesn't make sense. Kyler Murray in Miami doesn't make sense. Kyler Murray in Baltimore doesn't make sense. Okay, stop. Kyler Murray in Pittsburgh doesn't make sense. But Minnesota, mucho gracias. Right? My man Carson Lang is in the chat. It says Cards are aspiring until they find a new quarterback. So, Carson, let me ask you this, because I believe the Cardinals are a top 6 pick. I think they're sitting at number 3, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe number 4. I'm not for sure. I have to go back and look at the draft. We'll definitely dive into the draft later this offseason. But do they draft a quarterback? Do they pull a Denver Broncos and they eat that Russell Wilson contract for the next 2-3 seasons, let him walk, let him plow through somewhere else and make $1 million? Or do the Cardinals be like, you know what? Damn, we're stuck. $37 million. Man, what do we do? Sometimes you got to take a step back to take 5 steps forward. A bad day for the ego is a good day for the soul. And that's exactly what the Arizona Cardinals need right now. They need a bad day for the ego and a good day for the soul. Miller Mike says Titans request an interview to interview Matt Nagy. There was never any tread on that tire to retread. That's tough. Actually was trolling that today on our Facebook page. Very, 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 very true. Carson Les, Kyler Murray would be a good fit in Lollipop's Guild. No. Send Kyler Murray to the Purple People Eaters, put him in that purple and gold, send him down to Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the, what they call it now? Something dome is. I don't even know what the place is called anymore. U.S. Bank Stadium or whatever it is. Let him eat. Let him eat, baby. Mellow Mike says Texans first 4 picks in the top 70 thanks to Washington and Giants trades. Give me a big, nasty left guard, baby. Ooh, ooh, ooh. How about this, Mellow Mike? My man Zim Malowski from the Indiana University. He has won a national championship with Ohio State Buckeyes, a 4-year player over there. Now he's with IU as his grad year. Draft my man Zen. Draft my man Zen. Zen is a great kid. I coached him in high school. He has transformed his body. He will come out there and he will do the dirty work for you. He says, I say, Zen, I need you to run through that wall. He's like, Coach, you want me to do it sideways, backwards, or up and down? And how many times you want it done, baby? That would be tough. Mellow Mike says, Kyler to Indians, Shane Steichen. Dangerous. No. Because Shane Steichen runs an RPO offense. Kyler Murray's not tall enough to see over the defensive end to run a true RPO. Now, if you rolled him out and did that type of RPO, then we talking. But come on, now. The Indianapolis Colts better do Daniel Jones right. Give him them $1 bills, yo, and maybe they make the playoffs. Carson Lang says the Cards are not going to swallow their pride. The only good move from Kyler in his contract is done. They're going to shit the bed until then. And you know what, Carson Lang? I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it at all, baby. Because when I first started doing this podcasting thing, right, I was a guest on somebody's show. Forget what show it is. But it was at that time when the Arizona Cardinals had Josh Rosen, a top 10 draft pick. I believe Bruce Arians was the coach that year as well. Both let them go after 1 year. Josh Rosen out of town. Bruce Arians because they wanted Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. Ever since that point in time, the Arizona Cardinals have been dead to me. Ever since that point in time, I have wished ill will on the Arizona Cardinals. Ever since that point, I have been right about the Arizona Cardinals. Flashback to that 2023 NFL season. Flashback to that season when they started off, 8-2, 9-1? They were rolling there. Oh, we here, baby. Green Bay Packers coming to town. I believe it was Monday Night Football. They flexed that ass, baby. I sat here on the Man Hour with my man BC Combs to the left of me, and I said, the cracks in the Arizona Cardinals are showing. They didn't win the game for the rest of the season. They finished with a losing record. They missed the playoffs. Once again, I was called a clown. Once again, I was called, I don't know ball. Once again, I said, I'm just a hater. Buck knows ball, baby. Buck knows ball. Mellow Mike says, Buck, as a man without a horse in the race, who you rooting for in the playoffs? And what about them Packers? Where's Shay hiding? My man Shay will not be on the show for a while. We might do a co-host show sometime this week, depending if Studio C expansion gets done. We'll see how that goes. But me personally, I would like to see the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars battle it out in the AFC Championship. Winner take all at that point, right? I'm not for sure. Can it happen? I think it can happen, right? I'm not for sure. I think it can happen. But if it happens, I have to look at the bracket and see how the numbers line up. But I want a Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, AFC Championship run. Winner take all. Now, my man Carson Lang is the Buffalo Bills fan. And right now it's time for Josh Allen to shit out the pot time. I wouldn't mind a Buffalo Bills run either. Just so Carson Lang can stop living in misery. Just so he can handle his recovery like a man. My man has shoulder surgery, bang. Get well soon. All right, go, bud. You're hurting me. But honestly, NFC, I'm happy with the Buffalo Bills. I'm happy with the Houston Texans. I'm happy with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Anybody but the Denver Broncos. Anybody but the LA Chargers. Anybody but the New England Patriots. Where's our man Bruins Prod at? Anybody but those. NFC, I'm rooting for the Panthers. Why not root for the underdogs, right? Why not root for the underdogs? But we'll get into more of that later this week. We do start breaking down the NFL playoffs. Carson Lang says, fun fact, Josh Rosen now has financial advisor things. I feel that is what every ex-star college player or 1 or 2 year NFL player does, is they go to work for Enterprise and do the intercader car thing, or they do some type of financial advising stuff. Just that is just what they do. Go play Madden, bud. Go. Mellow Mike says Jag's going to jag to the Buffalo. Let's hope the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence do a little bit better. A little bit better than my man Pete Carroll, because, guys, Pete Carroll is a one and done. Guys, let's rewind this tape a little bit, because the Las Vegas Raiders have officially fired Pete Carroll after just one season. And this went about the opposite of the plan of as humanly possible. Guys, Pete Carroll said they're going to win a bunch of games. They said they were going to go to the moon, baby. Instead, they won 3. 3-14. Worst season of his coaching career. 9 double-digit losses, 2 shutouts. And Pete Carroll is out 17 games into his 3-year deal. Now, let's flash back to this offseason, because this part matters, right? I said it then, and I'll say it again now. This was a bad hire. The Raiders were reaching. They said the timeline didn't match the roster. I said Geno Smith signing plus the Pete Carroll hire was going to blow up in their faces. And what happened? Once again, I was called a clown. I was called a hater. I was told I don't know ball. Some greatest hits album. Now look, it wasn't bad luck. This wasn't a bad alignment. Pete Carroll walked into Las Vegas believing his resume alone could fast forward a rebuild. Super Bowl champs. 9 seasons with double-digit wins. One of the most respectable coaches in the last 20 years. But this wasn't Seattle in 2012. This wasn't USC. This was a Raider roster that was near ready. Pete Carroll immediately said he was blindly optimistic. And the league reminded him every single Sunday how far his team away actually really was. The offense was a mess. Geno Smith threw a league-high 17 interceptions. The Raiders finished dead last in rushing despite drafting Ashton Genty. They fired Chip Kelly mid-season. Special teams got nuked too. And the defense didn't fit the vision. Pete Carroll and Patrick Graham never synced up. 26 in points allowed, 31st in pass rushers. Max Crosby had double-digit sacks, but the unit as a whole couldn't get off the field. This season wasn't just bad, it was disjointed. And here's the part Raider fans need to hear. It doesn't hurt Pete Carroll's legacy at all. One distraught year in Vegas doesn't erase a Super Bowl, a national championship, or decades of winning. This season will fade into trivia. Just another chapter into a long writer's wilderness. But it does confirm something important. The Raiders are in full rebuild mode. Whether they want to say it out loud or not, it is a rebuild time in Las Vegas. The good news, they have the number 1 overall pick. They have young talent like Brock Bowers and Ashton Gentry. They have cap space. They have draft ammo. And they have Tom Brady with real influence in the building. That all matters. But this next hire is not about nostalgic. It's about injury. It's about energy. It is not about slogans. It's about finding a coach who matches a rookie quarterback's timeline, especially if that quarterback is Mendoza from Indiana, a top passer in his class. That's the pivot. That's the plan. That's the only way this works. The Pete Carroll experiment didn't fail because Pete forgot how to coach. It failed because the Raiders tried to skip steps. And when you skip steps in the NFL, the bill always comes due. Now, let me ask you this, Man Hour Nation, before we wrap this up. Do the Raiders finally have a real chance to reset with the number 1 overall pick, or are we just watching the next chapter in the same cycle? Groundhog Day, per se. Let's get into the comments, guys, discuss your thoughts. Subscribe, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. East Coast time, right at youtube.com/Man Hour. This is a live interactive show, guys, so jump in the chat and let your voice be heard. Mellow Mike says the Raiders are more broken than Jake Paul's jaw. And Jake Paul's jaw is broken. It's just not a little broken, it's broken. That's tough because it's facts. Spot on facts, brother. The Games Network 521, man, are you pregnant? Not pregnant. What? Are you trying to call me fat? Man, I'm 6'3", 240 pounds. I ain't fat. I'm fluffy. Mellow Mike says Raiders are going to rehire Art Shell for a 3rd stint. Bring back Josh McDaniels, another Gruden return, or Bruce Arians in a Brady reunion. All that makes sense. All that would be the most Raiders thing to do ever, right? But this is what I'm hearing. From the rumors that I've gathered around for the last 6-7 hours for the day, I hear Brian Daboll is on the list that Tom Brady seems to be leading this coaching search. Brian Daboll is up at the top of the list. Brian Flores is at the top of the list, even though he's resuing the NFL for something weird. I don't know. And the Minnesota Vikings are doing everything they can to keep him as a defensive coordinator. I don't know what's going on there. But Brian Daboll, Brian Flores, and of course, Josh McDaniels is also leading the coaching carousel as well. So call it what you may, but those are the three names that I am hearing at the top of the list. Carson Lang says he's also the same guy who threw the ball with beast mode in the backfield. That alone destroyed his legacy. Not wrong. Not wrong. Mellow Mike says, Arch Manning says, nah, Grandpa Archie, stay in school. Yes, as you guys know, Arch Manning took a, quote, pay cut to stay at Texas for, I think it's junior year, right? Or senior year, I'm not for sure. Either way, Arch Manning is staying in Texas. Basically, he didn't want to go to the Giants. He didn't want to go to the Jets. He didn't want to go to the Cardinals. He didn't want to go to the Raiders. He's like, you know what? See ya. Mellow Mike says, Dayball? Laugh my butt off. What?
I should doing it.
Do it right now, buddy. He says, Flores? Interesting. Now, that could bring back the old school Raiders mentality.
Marco!
Listen, Mellow Mike, we talked about this many times on this show. Me and Shay, your guy, your Packers guy, right? Have also me and Shay have talked about this after football practice as well. There are certain people in the world that are just not meant to be managers in leadership type of role. Many people are better off as coordinators, assistant managers, team managers, whatever you want to call them, right? I think Brian Flores falls into that category where he is a great coordinator. Matter of fact, I'd probably put him as a best defensive coordinator right now in the NFL. Was not a very good head coach. I don't know if he can if he can't control the room, if he can't do this, or it just like he has too many irons in the fire. I don't know. Same thing with Mike McDaniel down there in Miami. He was a great passing game coordinator. He was a great offensive coordinator in San Francisco. Now, you can say he turned on his head coaching hat after Tyreek Hill got injured, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But the simple fact of the matter is he's not a very good head coach either. But if it truly is Tom Brady leading this coaching search in Las Vegas, if it is truly Tom Brady leading the bringing in the candidates and interviewing them, look for an old Patriots guy. Look for Brian Daboll, Flores. Look for a Josh McDaniels, right? Look for somebody in that Belichick coaching tree back when Tom Brady was there. Those are the hires that you want to keep an eye out for. Mellow Mike says, Flores got railroaded because he refused to tank in Miami. Last year, winning record with parts from a scrap pile. Yes, Brian Flores, quote, got railroaded because he didn't want to play ball. However, he still lost. Carson Lang says, you put Flores over Spags? Yes and no. Spags is a great big game coach. Spags is a great coach to dial up pressure. Spags is a great coach that when you need to stop this person, he will stop that person, a.k.a. Saquon Barkley last year in the Super Bowl. However, this year he showed a little holes, right? When you don't have elite talent or that depth, yeah, right? Now, you can say the same thing about Brian Flores, right? But it's kind of like a 1A, 1B. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going to put Brian Flores over Steve Spagnuolo right now. Yes, I will. Carson Lang says, Bill Belichick, the new Raiders head coach? No. I think that ship has long sailed. I think Tom Brady and Bill Belichick legitimately probably hate each other. I think that's what it ultimately comes down to. I think they legitimately hate each other. But guys, it is time for the little segment we have to call Bye or sell. Play it. You got Aston Gentry, who legit running back if he gets help. You got Max Crosby, one of the best defensive players in football. Let's talk about Max Crosby because this matters. Guys, Max Crosby is pissed, and that gives the next coach leverage. You build around him as your defensive cornerstone, or you trade him for a king's ransom and load up on multiple first-round picks. Either way, you got flexibility. And flexibility currency is in NFL. This job gives a coach a chance to make a massive splash immediately. Now, this is where the sell side starts screaming. The Raiders are a mess. They hired the oldest coach in the NFL last year. They traded away a 35-year-old quarterback and went 3-14. That's not bad luck. That's organizational dysfunction. There was never a plan. There's never a timeline. There's never patience. And now the coach search is being led by John Spytek. And, of course, Tom Brady, who is the greatest quarterback ever. He's the second greatest quarterback ever. But he has zero experience of running a coaching search. Let's just be honest. Mark Davis loves big names. Flash over function. Headlines over structure. And that's red flags. Because no matter how good the roster pieces are, if the ownership doesn't get out of the way, the job eats coaches alive. The franchise hasn't been stable in decades. Now the upside. There's absolutely is upside. There's a risk more than any other opening. A coach comes in, drafts his quarterback, trades Cosby, stacks picks, and fully rebuild. But that requires patience, alignment, a front office that doesn't panic. And the Raiders have never shown this consistently. The Raiders isn't a plug and play. It's a high risk, high reward. And every coach wants to bet his career, Mark Davis, learning patience. So guys, here is my verdict. I am selling that the Raiders are the best coaching opening. They might be the most intriguing. They might be the most upside, but the best, no. Too much instability, too much history, too many warning signs. But Man Our Nation, what do you think? Are you buying or are you selling that the Raiders are the best coaching job available? Would you take the job if you were a head coach? Or is it a career trap? Drop your takes in the comments down below, guys, and let's talk. Subscribe, hit the like button. Remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. East Coast time at youtube.com/Man Hour. Now, this is a live and after show, guys. Let's jump in and let's start the debate. Carson Legs, I can't hear you. Yeah, my bad. Trip pushed the button. Trip pushed the button. Mellow Mike says, buy. Buy that Texas stock now, baby. Super Bowl champs. This team has no quit. The key word. They believe in D'Amico. That's preaching. Let's freaking go Texans. Mellow Michael says, Mark Davis shouldn't make any decision with that damn haircut. Facts. Mark Davis, you are a billionaire. A billion with the beat. You make billions upon $1 billion every year. You got a supermodel girlfriend that didn't know you were rich. And you got a 1970s Dennis the Menace haircut. Come on, man. Come on, man. Carson Lang is speaking facts. He said the Raiders are the Dallas Cowboys of the AFC. First of all, the Dallas Cowboys are the richest team in the NFL because of great ownership. The Dallas Cowboys are Super Bowl bound next year, baby. If the Dallas Cowboys would have made the playoffs this season, they would have been an easy smooth into the Super Bowl. Raiders would have been one and done. So no, they're not the Cowboys. Get out of here. My man John said in the chat, he says, what's going on, man? Our nation, Happy New Year's to y'all. John, this is officially the last day you can say Happy New Year's. It's 5 days past the first, so bada bing, bada boom, no more. But Happy New Year's to you as well, brother. And he says it is a trap. Career suicide. Do not go to the Vegas Raiders. You ain't going to last, baby. Miller Mike says the Giants are the best spot. You got Scabado. You got Jackson Dart. You got solid pieces. Missed on that defensive end. Can't find a damn meeting rooms. And guess what, Miller Mike? That is next up on the buy or sell. It is the one and only New York Football Giants. Guys, buy or sell. Are the Giants the best head coaching opening in the NFL? Now, this all sounds good on paper. This all, when you read between the lines, everything looks good, baby. But the paper lies to you. The papers lie. Let me start with the sales job because I got coaches, because I get why coaches would be interested. The Giants appear to have a franchise quarterback in place. Jackson Dart was the first-round pick in 2025. The organization is clearly committed to him. A new coach wouldn't be walking into a blind at quarterback. That matters. You got a solid running back, run with Scabado. You got a wide receiver who could be a top 10 in the league in the right system with Malik Neighbors. You got a defense that's loaded with young talent and pieces all over the place. And on top of that, you're holding the 5th overall pick. That's another blue chip player coming in immediately, making an impact. From a roster standpoint, this is not a teardown. It's a tweak and a little rebuild type of situation. Now, let's talk about the Giants' reality. This is an underrated, dysfunctional organization. Yes, they got 4 Super Bowls. Yes, they are an iconic franchise. But since 2011, 0 NFC East titles. 2 playoff appearances and 4 head coaches in 10 years. That's not stability. That's chaos with the legacy logo. What? Yeah. Go play Madden. They still want patience. They still say they want to give the coach the next coach time, but history says otherwise. New York is a pressure cooker. When things go wrong, the noise gets loud fast, and the leash gets shorter and shorter, and then very short. Here's the biggest things with this job. Any coach taking this job must believe in Jackson Dart. You're not drafting your own quarterback at the top. You are developing somebody else's quarterback. That's great if you love Dart. That's dangerous if you don't. Yes, there's talent around him. Yes, he's exciting. But tying your future to a young quarterback in New York with the media and fan pressure, that's not the fate of heart. And this is where I land on this take. Buy or sell the Giants the best opening? No. They are one of the most appealing ones. Or sorry, they're the one more appealing ones compared to the rest of the market, absolutely. But winning in New York matters. The league loves the Giants. If you succeed here, you're a star. But that spotlight cuts both ways. This job probably looks better than it actually is, especially when you factor in ownership, history, and patience and expectations to reach every Sunday. Because I am saying that the Giants are the best head coaching opening. There's talent, there's quarterback, there's draft capital. But the function, the pressure, the short historical leash keeps from being a job on the market. What do you think, Man Our Nation? Are you buying or are you saying the Giants are the best coaching job opening right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. What? What?
Where my mommy?
Mommy's at basketball practice. Go. Carson says, I will buy. They are the best available for a few reasons. 1, low expectations. That's false. 2, good basic key players. That is true. And big salary cap. Also, like you said, terrible ownership like the Cowboys. And if I'm not mistaken, doesn't their owner have cancer? Like as well? So I'm sure he wants to win now sooner than later because you don't know if he's going to be here later. Like I'm not trying to throw shade at him by any way whatsoever. But what a perfect way to go out, win a Super Bowl, win a championship, right? Mellow Mike says the Giants want Texans defensive coordinator Matt Burke. Might be a good hire. Honestly, what the Giants should have done was fire Joe Schoen, fired Brian Daboll, got everybody new. Right? That's just them. That's just them. But another job that's very, very intriguing is the Atlanta Falcons. Guys, buy or sell. Are the Atlanta Falcons the best head coaching job in the NFL? This job isn't loud. This job isn't flashy. But this is one that you can absolutely talk yourself into, guys. Let's start with what jumps out on the tape for the Atlanta Falcons. We just watched the Falcons blow out the Buffalo Bills. Yes, Carson, your Buffalo Bills. We just watched them beat the LA Rams late in the season. And yet somehow they finished underneath 500. That right there tells you everything you need to know. This roster is better than the record shows. That's why Raheem Morris and Terry Frontenac are both out. And you got to give credit where credit is due. Atlanta did this the right way. No lame duck GM, no half measures, clean slate. That matters to coaching candidates. You're not walking into somebody else's mess with someone else picking up your groceries. You're building things together from day one. And let's just be real. Talent is not the issue in Atlanta. They've got the players. They got the speed. They got young weapons on both sides of the ball. And they're in a division that's not very good. Matter of fact, the NFC South is the worst division in football. Not a dominant team, no long-term powerhouse, no gatekeeper. You do not need a 5-year rebuild to compete there. You can win the division fast with a competent coaching and discipline. That alone makes his job very, very attractive. Now, there are some speed bumps there. Quarterback. What are you going to do at quarterback? Michael Penix Jr. has shown flashes, but he's been inconsistent. Now, he's coming off another season injury, which is a real big deal. And there's real uncertainty whether he will even be ready for week 1 next season. Kirk Cousins, he could be back, but he'll be 38 years old. So, yeah, that's not ideal. So here's the thing that most fans miss. Quarterback isn't the only thing coaches look at. They look at ownership, patience, front office alignment, roster talent, division, difficulty, path to winning early. And Atlanta checks all of those boxes. This job won't attract someone looking for instant stardom, but it will attract someone who believes in structure, development, and fast results. A coach who could come in, stabilize a quarterback room, clean up a situation in football, and be honest, and be hosting a playoff football game sooner than people expect. This isn't a rebuild. This is simply a correction. Because, guys, I am buying that the Atlanta Falcons is the best head coaching opening right now in the NFL. The roster is ready, the division is weak, and the front office reset was done correctly. Fix the quarterback, even just enough, and his job turns into a wins quickly. But what do you think, Man Hour Nation? Are you buying or are you saying that the Atlanta Falcons are the best coaching situation right now in the NFL? Is this a sleeping giant, or does the quarterback situation scare you off? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. Let's talk it out. Subscribe, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. East Coast time right at YouTube.com. This is a live interactive show, so get down in the comments down below. Mellow Mike says, agreed. Ballard in Indy, Barry in Cleveland, Show in New York, all GMs that should have been fired. Facts on facts on facts on facts. Talk about that later. Carson Lang says, with the Falcons, you have to mess with the $100 million quarterback backup. But if all things are the most appealing to the openings, $100 million backup quarters money is a lot taken up. I believe he signed a 3-year, $100 million deal. First 2 years of it were guaranteed. Third year, optional. You kind of got a clean slate. You got a mid-round pick. You can get a decent quarterback. Franchise tag, Kyle Pitts. Bada bing, bada boom. Probably winning the division. Because the Saints aren't. The Buccaneers look suspect at best. They should be looking for a new coach here soon. Panthers? Fugazi. Joyce, dropping the heart. What's up, Joyce? Mellow Mike says, Falcons, good skill position and offensive line. Defense, Penix, might be a while before they're a compete. See, and that is just the point. Is the division is so bad that if you get a Kyler Murray, if you get a, do I dare say it, Trey Lance, if you get a J.J. McCarthy, hell, if you get a Patrick Mahomes, he wants out of Kansas City. Let's just say that the Falcons are closer than people think. The Falcons are really, they're one win away of being in the playoffs this season. They are 2 games of starting Kirk Cousins earlier to being in the playoffs. They're that close. They beat the Buffalo Bills. They beat the LA Rams when the Rams were battling for first place in the NFC. They're not terrible. They step up to the opponents, but they also step down to the opponents. A coach comes in and levels it out, bada bing, bada boom, to the moon, baby. James Frank says, I'm late, but Myles Godzilla Garrett. Can we say overrated? I'm kidding. Myles Garrett did his thing. 23 sacks on 300 some odd snaps. He did his thing, baby. He did his thing. Mellow Mike says, let's ponder this thought here. He says, a Lamar to Atlanta? And normally I'm like, slow it down, baby. Let's not get crazy. However, we all see that Lamar Jackson doesn't like playing in the cold. I got to give credit where credit is due. My man Carson Lang said this. He said, and I quote, Lamar Jackson will be in a warm weather city by next season. Whether it be Arizona, whether it be Miami, whether it be a dome team like Atlanta, whether it be a dome team like the Minnesota Vikings. It would not shock me one bit if we see the biggest trade ever in NFL history. I use that term lightly. But Lamar Jackson to Atlanta makes sense. Lamar Jackson to a new city makes sense. As long as John Harbaugh is still in Baltimore. But tomorrow, I'm going to talk about how every coach in the AFC North should be fired today. That's for tomorrow. But I like where your head's at, Mellow Mike. I like it. Mellow Mike says, Burrow laid down for Garrett. No, he didn't. Well, we'll talk about that tomorrow as well. Tim Fitzgerald in the chat says, Falcons are close. They need a quarterback and a legit number 2 receiver. Drake London is too injury prone. First of all, Tim, welcome to the stream, buddy. Glad to have you here. And I agree. The Atlanta Falcons are close. The Atlanta Falcons are a decent quarterback away. They need that bridge gap quarterback. Whether it is a Trey Lance. Let's throw another name out there. A name that has kind of shocked me this season, Mac Jones. We all see what Mac Jones did in San Francisco. We all seen Mac Jones elevate that 49ers team for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it was. Without Mac Jones, the 49ers wouldn't be in the playoffs. Without Mac Jones, Kyle Shanahan might be looking for a job. But as far as Drake London being true injury prone, winning fixes a lot of injuries. Let's look at Christian McCaffrey for example. Every other game in Carolina, he was injured, right? He goes to San Francisco. Yes, he's had his injuries still, but he's been a lot more healthy than he was in Carolina. Winning cures a lot of things. Winning cures injuries. Winning cures effort. Winning cures money. None of that about bills, y'all. Look, we just talked about Lamar Jackson. Look at Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson has been embellishing his injuries this season because the Ravens were not very good. And his MVP years, when they were a 13-win team, 12-win team, first round buys, playoff bound teams, never saw him really get injured. The minute things start to get a little bit difficult in Baltimore, oh, my hammy. Oh, my back. Oh, my finger. Oh, I'm sick. Winning cures a lot. Mellow Mike says, want to handle Pittsburgh and get Tomlin fired on Monday Night Football, baby. We'll talk about that. We will talk about that. James Frank says, Malik Willis to Atlanta. Give that man a chance. Was it last week when Malik Willis did his thing. Yes, they still lost, but he went out there and he balled out. I believe it was to the Baltimore Ravens, if I'm not mistaken. He went out there and he balled out. My man Shea Frazier came on Man Hour and said, give this man a starting job. He was pulling his best black girl impression. Give that man a job. Give that man a job. Malik Willis has had his shot. Malik Willis has been a starter in the NFL. He has a losing record as a NFL starter. Granted, it was with the Tennessee Titans. Whatever. Has he won a game with the Green Bay Packers? He's won one, right? Now, I'm not saying it's all doom and gloom. You put him in there, he's a 3-1 quarterback. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm also not saying that he's a bridge gap quarterback either. He is a Ryan Fitzpatrick-esque guy. You put him in there 1, 2, maybe 3 games, bada bing, bada boom, he doesn't suck. But the minute that 4th game hits, the minute that fifth game hits, get him out of town. Much like Snoop Huntley, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Garner Minshew, the list goes on and on and on. You want a real name in Atlanta? I see your Lamar Jackson. I threw out the name Mac Jones. I threw out the name Trey Lance, potentially. You know who I'd love to see in Atlanta? I would love to see in Atlanta? Will Levis. Give that man some mayo, give him the Georgia Dome, and give him the Dirty Bird dance, and oof, to the moon, baby. To the moon, baby. Mellow Mike says, man, Christian McCaffrey went to San Francisco in Super Bowls. Still lands on IR. Next $3. He was only on IR for 4 weeks. One time. Sheesh. Carson says, don't you shit on Fitz magic. Facts are facts, Carson Lane. Facts are facts. What do you do for you in Buffalo, Carson? Below 500, if I'm not mistaken, as a starter. Mellow Mike says, Titans kill quarterbacks. Mariota, Will Levis, Willis, Cam Ward, the Browns of the AFC South. Hang on now. Hang on. They did do my man. Oh, why is his name slipping my mind right now? Ryan Tannehill. The man went from Miami to Tennessee and got better. Now, I'm not saying the Tennessee Titans are a good organization because they are a trash-ass organization. Ryan Tannehill was ascending every year. And I was like, get out of here. Mike Vrabel had him consistently 7, 8, 9, 10 wins. Hell, had him in the AFC Championship game versus the Kansas City Chiefs back in 2021. Get out of here. You're not good enough for us. Titans are pretty bad. pretty bad. Tim Fitzgerald says Drake May MVP, baby. Tim, I did not realize we had another Drake May fan up in this place here. But Drake May has put up some good numbers. Drake May has done his thing. And Drake May is definitely in the conversation. We'll have to talk about that Friday. Friday, when I got Shay on, we'll do a little co-host show. Me and Shay, well, let's say Friday, maybe Thursday, depending on how the day's situation, right? We'll talk about MVP. James Frank says they had a great coach when Tannehill was there too. Mike Vrabel. Carson Lane says Buffalo was in a bad spot with Fitzmagic. Everywhere he went, he won. On shit organizations. He won for 2 or 3 games. And then he shit the bed. Stop it. James says, whoa, slow it down, Tim. He says, Tim, bring that ass here, boy. Matthew Stafford is MVP. Matthew Stafford at 36 years old, throwing tutties to the left, throwing tutties to the right, throwing tutties down the E. Hell, he even threw a tutty going backwards. That is the true MVP. And Tim says, whoa. Matthew Stafford has more weapons. May has done more with less. I think you all need to slow it down. Because it's not all about talent. It's all about who you play against. And when Drake May played the New York Football Giants, he goes off. He has one 300-yard game in 2 NFL seasons. If I remember correctly, Matthew Stafford has 3 games where he didn't break 300 yards. Ooh, shoot that ball, baby. How fast?
Daddy,
What?
I should-
Almost done. Welders, Fences in chat. What's up, man? He says, Aaron Rodgers, 63-year-old, almost had 300 yards, 2 tutties, and no picks last night. Unbelievable. Listen, thank you for joining us tonight. And Aaron Rodgers still has spurts of greatness. I believe it was a 30-yard touchdown pass, maybe a 40-yard touchdown pass to Miles Austin III. Just a little flick of the wrist. Aaron Rodgers still has the arm strength. Aaron Rodgers still has the head case upstairs. Aaron Rodgers still has that football IQ. He doesn't have patience, though. It seems like he's always yelling. He's that cranky old grandpa. Like, why? It was like when his headset was broken and they couldn't communicate or like something. He was cussing Arthur Smith up and down like it was his fault. Like, bro, chill. Like, damn. Take some more ayahuasca to calm down. Calm down, bro. Calm down. Tim says Matthew Stafford has better receivers, a better running back, a better defense. Whoa, Tim, slow it down. Slow it down. If you want to go that route, I do agree that Kyron Williams is a pretty damn good running back. But look at the running back core that you guys got. Rams got 1 running back. You guys legitimately have a 2-headed monster. If that other guy gets healthy, you have a 3-headed monster. I forget his name. They might have better stats over there in LA, but as a running back core, Patriots got the upper hand. Now the Rams do got Puka, arguably a top 10 receiver in the NFL. But when Stephon Diggs is on his game and not choking out women, he's a top 10 receiver as well. In defense, that's kind of a toss-up. So, Tim, don't be dogging the Patriots. Look, I assume it's your team. Matthew Stafford just had a better season. Had a better season. What, bud? Yeah, go ahead. James Frank says, screw bad grandpa. James Frank is a Cleveland Browns fan, guys. So give James Frank a little bit of a leeway. He's still on cloud 9 from beating the Cincinnati Bengals, giving him the 5th win of the NFL season. Let's go, baby! But damn, slow it down. Mellow Mike says Drake May play 4th place schedule. Now he got to run with the big dogs. No chance. Some might say one and done. One and done. Carson Lang says Mitchell Trubisky, a backup quarterback, put up damn near the same numbers as Drake May, but Trubisky was playing with the second stringers. Facts. Tim Frazier says Matthew Stafford didn't even win the division. Not wrong. Not wrong. But when you have 3 teams in your division versus 2 teams in your division make the playoffs, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? James Frank says Matthew Stafford will go further in the playoffs. Good thing MVP is a regular season award. So I think, first of all, I think we're forgetting what the MVP actually is. Now, most of us think it's actually the most valuable player, right? Who is the most influential player on your team to elevate that team? Where would that team be without said player, right? When you think of the New England Patriots and Drake May, I think the Patriots would still be a 12, 13, if not a 14-win team without Drake May. You put Mitchell Trubisky on there. You put a Tua on there. You put a Mac Jones on there. It was a very rely on our defense, short passing game, running the ball down your throat type of system. Now, let's not get it twisted. Drake May had spurts of greatness, right? He had that one play versus Miami where he threw the ball like 60-some yards to wide open Stefanski Diggs right down the middle. Or to a Boudier, I don't know how to say his name actually, but I like to say Boudier. It sounds all proper and stuff. But he had spurts of that. Now, with Matthew Stafford, the Rams would not be where they are without Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford elevated everybody on that team. Davante Adams now has led 3 different teams in receiving touchdowns. He doesn't do that without Matthew Stafford. The defense doesn't look elite without Matthew Stafford keeping them off the field, keeping them fresh, right? Puka probably still does his thing. Kyron really still probably does his thing. But the Rams are a 500 team without Matthew Stafford. That right there alone makes you MVP. However, this is the NFL. And the NFL is the quarterback on the best team. Whether it's the NFC, whether it's the AFC, it's the best team in the biggest market with the quarterback. That gives you 2 names. It gives you Sam Darnold and Drake May. By that default, it's going to probably be Drake May. Does he deserve it? No. Carson Lang says, if we're talking about being done more than less than clear, Josh Allen is the back-to-back MVP. Allen has James Cook that's close to it. And I agree. When you look at true MVPs across the league, you have to throw Josh Allen out there. You have to throw Caleb Williams out there. Have to throw Dak Prescott out there. Patrick Mahomes, right? We look at those 4 quarterbacks, those teams would be even worse than what they are without their quarterbacks. The Chiefs would not even have won a game. We saw how bad Gardner Minshew was for that 4 quarters that he played. Chicago Bears wouldn't be a second-place team in the SC without Caleb Williams. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys would have not been a 7-win team without Dak. Those are true MVPs. Mellow Mike says, Rams got Kyron and big play Blake Combs. I didn't forget about Davante Adams. We go here. Who won 4 games last season? Oh, the Patriots won 4 games last season. Patriots won 4 games with a coach that shouldn't be a head coach, with Jerron Mayo. Shouldn't have been a head coach. You take that same team from last year, Tim, meaning the New England Patriots from 2024 NFL season, put Mike Vrabel as a head coach. They're a 10-11-1 team. That's just what it is. Tim says, and Mac Hollins, come on. What would Drake May do with Puka and Adams? He would still throw for 210 yards, and they would rush the ball for 30-plus times a game. Just saying. I'm just saying. But it is what it is. But guys, that's going to be it for tonight's show. Got to get little man to bed since the wifey is at basketball practice tonight. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be back in Studio C once the expansion is done. More than likely not, but hopefully by the end of the week. Guys, this has been Man Hour NFL Talk, guys. Your go-to spot for live, raw, uncut NFL talk. See you tomorrow, guys, at 7 p.m. East Coast time. Until then, guys, we are out.
Hey, now it's time to take off. Gotta keep it live and raw. Better stay tuned in. Man Hour NFL Talk. I know that you're ready for more. They on the field, ready for war. Who's in the lead? I'm checking the score. We about to do it like never before. NFL live, uncut, raw. This is Man Hour NFL Talk. Let's go.